Hi all, welcome back to ESL Challenger League Europe Lower Round 2. I'm Rook and I'm joined by John P. As we get into Game 2 here, an impressive performance from PALOMA in Map 1, taking down Sangal Esports. And Sangal desperately need this one to keep themselves in it to go to Vertigo.
Yeah, solid performance from PALOMA, to say the least, on Mirage, and it almost looks like they've come out swinging here on the CT side like they did on the T side back on Mirage. A nice bit of early aggression to try and assert their dominance over towards Banana, but maybe they bit off a little bit more they can chew, or at least SNX did as the solo player over towards that B site. But a nice quad stack over towards this A bomb site allows them to rotate in numbers and not get picked off one by one. However, though, this also allows the side of PALOMA to potentially give up this B site with relative ease. Sangal looks like they are going to be trying to worm towards that B site eventually, but oh dear, SNX tries to spot the players come through the smoke. I think the flashes and nades come through. There are the smokes over towards CT. Corey opens the FS. Scrunk finds the headshot through the smoke on Telena, and well, that's going to be the B bomb site in complete control of the side of Sangal Esports. And that should be the first round on the board for them.
Dude, it should. And Sangal, I mean, that was great pace from them, great aggression. The fact that they got a kill through the smoke ain't bad either. They'll take that one. QB on the lurk here. Gonna get Casey. That's gonna be an easy frag, and we have to upgrade their pistol as well. So really nice early round from Sangal Esports and getting off to the start. That they so desperately wanted to see. Like we saw from them in Map 1, actually, when they were on the attacking side, when they're on that T. They made a lot out of it. Here they take down another. Sprunk. Upgrade. Does not know waiting around the corner, though. Now be an easy frag for
Yep, before going down for the side of PALOMA, bomb does get detonated as well for the side of Sangal, so that's going to be the first round win on the board. Just one USP brought through, of course, into the next round, regardless either way. So no extra money on the side of Sangal for that final frag. Nevertheless, they've just got about enough money to scrape an AK, 2 Galils and 2 SMGs into their hands as well. Decent bit of util across the board. Great, some would say, even as well. That's going to be 8 flashes, 5 mollies, 5 smokes, as well as just a double up on the nade. And again, they're going to get aggressive over towards that banana early on. And I think for the side of PALOMA, I think they've realised that maybe putting one player over towards B site isn't the best of things to do.
goes in, but they're waiting on top. They turn right on into it. And that was absolutely huge from ISO there and SNX as a duo making that play forward. And they managed to pick up that Mac 10 as well. So if that push comes into aggressively, it would have been absolutely thwarted. So love the shift towards this here. And Lena's going to have to show up, though, if they're going to make anything more out of this.
Yeah, I think the best thing about Lena is he's playing in such a tricky spot. They're not going to expect him over to the grave. He has to find one. He can't land the shot, though, unfortunately. It is going to be Corey to clean up the job. And, well, Philly has spotted SNX, but spraying the prey isn't going to come to terms with the Mac, unfortunately, this time. The Galil just slightly better at that range. Second on the board for Sangal, but only just, you could say. There's, on a different day, you'd probably find Lena lands the second headshot, or at least lands one onto one of the players from Sangal and makes it a 2 versus 2. Either way, though, Sangal, they will be absolutely delighted that they're the ones that have started this game 2-0 up and not 7-0 down this time around. But for PALOMA, they've now put the rifles into their hands. It's going to be 3 M4 A1Ss, and it's just going to be 2 normal A1s. And I like the change of pace from Sangal, though. Just stepped off the gas a little bit now, because I think they've understood and respected the fact that PALOMA have got the rifles.
Indeed. Going to move up as well into that A site. There's a lot of kind of posturing, information gathering, and kind of poking and prodding around the map from Sangal here. Obviously, apartment's key part of the map, but only one player towards there at the moment. It seems to be a lot of focus towards Banana. SNX in a great position here. Really able to surprise these players and go and check for it.
The flash comes through, but Corey's aim is just naturally better. First is going to be picked up, PALOMA. They just can't handle the aggression that Sangal seems to be put in their way, but Olim's going to find one. It's Corey who drops through the smoke. Lena tags Scrunk up relatively heavily as well. Somehow isn't popping wallbang. But that bomb does go down, and we're in the 4 versus 4 with the retake starting to come through from PALOMA.
Starting to make no moves. You see that there's players slightly further out in QB. Oh, holding this banana position as the rest of them start to come in from CT, mostly from a Paloma here. They want to try contest, but the positions just aren't there. They don't have utility left. And that's sometimes one of the big problems on this map, is the lack of utility. Instead, trying to hold down this angle, take a couple of players out, and deal some eco damage. But Sangal, regardless, they pick up the round, and it's a pretty good bonus for them.
I think the problem that Paloma had is none of them had the kit, right? Like a defuse kit, so you've got to take 5 seconds off the round just for the sake of no one having a kit. So unfortunate for them, but nevertheless, though, Sangal triple their luck and go 3 for 3 so far here on Inferno. It's a map that they like to play. They picked into it for a reason, and well, it looks like we're starting to see why, at least. But for Paloma, Rook, what we expected to see out of them, how are they going to try and get their way back into this here? Of course, they now pick up yet another buy round, but this time they're going to be answered back with 5 AKs in the hands of Sangal.
I think it's going to be hard for them, honestly, because I don't think that their decisive nature is really going to help them a lot on this map here. I think it's a lot of responses, a lot of solid play around set situations that really makes a team good at Inferno. I don't think necessarily they're going to be able to have that. Sangal, I think, is going to really have a lot of control when they're on the attacking side. Paloma, they need to get a streak going when they shift over to that T side, because that's where they're really going to get their money's worth. Good frag coming through. Allows them to take down Olaf on that side. Does mean it's a much more open position, but you can see they rotate back. They don't have to commit to anything. They got a lot of time to work with. With that site now pretty wide open because of Sprunk, I mean, A site's got to naturally be the right option. You can see already the remaining players of Paloma, they shift off. They're like, okay, we got to save these rifles.
Where was this Sangal on Mirage on T side? Honestly, like, they're so coordinated. It like it's not they obviously they picked Inferno for a reason. They know how to play it, right? But you know, on Mirage, it looked like they were sort of really letting Paloma dictate the way that the match was going to go and the half was going to go. But this time, it was anything but that. Sangal were the ones on the front foot. They seem to have, you know, I don't want to say slipped into 5th gear, but they're certainly up into that 3rd or 4th region. And wow, the BM's even coming in. Corey's starting to feel himself a little bit here, apparently.
It's good to see. Good to see. There was some difficult rounds, especially in the previous map, for Sangal. So it's good to see them getting a bit back into the swing of things. You see QB hasn't even died yet in these 4 rounds, 5 frags to their name. Whereas you look towards Casey, a player who would expect a lot for Paloma here, and hasn't really been able to make an impact at all. 0 kills over these 4 rounds, and just has not been able to make a word in edgeways. And this was a player who was certainly highlighting for Paloma in the previous map and prior to that as well. Really impressive performances from them, and if they can't show up, well, Paloma are going to lack that firepower to really contest a lot of what Sangal's doing here.
Well, let's see how things play off going into this round number 5 then, shall we? Sangal looking pretty solid. The economy, like you mentioned, broken for the side of Paloma. And well, for the side of Paloma, it doesn't seem like they've got much faith here so far on Inferno. Looking to try and kick things off a little bit better than they have done thus far, but with just the 4 pistols and the 1 SMG, it's a lot easier said than done. But again, though, look at this again from Sangal. They claim that banana control almost instantaneously. The default smokes over towards CT, no doubt will go out upon the execute. But this is what Sangal was missing on Inferno, Rook. They were missing that early engagement. They were missing just storming their way onto the map and taking complete control. Because if you cast your mind back to the first half on Mirage, that's exactly what Paloma were doing to them, and it worked wonders.
Indeed it did. And I think you're seeing it now because Paloma are trying to stack, trying to make these calls happen. And yeah, Sangal are just rotating around. I think the big difference here is the quality of these defaults from Sangal Esports. They're positing a lot of questions. They're not committing too hard to anything. They're like, okay, let's get that information. Let's peek some players around. Use this utility, force situations. And now you can see that, sure, they're making their due diligence, but they're pretty sure no one is waiting on this site. Don't want to get caught off guard, so do make all those checks. But they're going to completely take control of this because of the work that they did in the prior parts of the round. It's just so free.
Well, A site unoccupied, easily obtained by Sangal. They are just going to save the SMG and pistols through to the next round as well. So 5th goes up for Sangal. And it's almost like night and day, right? Between the way they started this first half to where they started it on Mirage, and of course, yes, I know Mirage and Inferno are two very, very different maps and played. You know, although there are some similarities, they can be also played quite different as well. But nevertheless, you got to say is if Sangal took this aggression into that map number 1, how things could have been so different here, because Paloma at the moment, they have not got out the blocks.
Did they haven't? And I mean, yeah, this is more akin to what we saw from for Paloma. It's more akin to what we saw from Sangal on the previous map. Now, keep in mind, Sangal did have a really great resurgence, did take a lot of control. That defense looked a lot better for them. The CT was really impressive once they got into the swing of things. The question is, when are they going to get into the swing? When are they going to start delivering? Paloma need to start doing it relatively soon, otherwise they're going to find themselves at a pretty big deficit. And obviously that's not where they want to be, but also it means that Sangal continue to get the momentum going, and it becomes even harder to shut them down when it gets there. Util invested all over the place, and Paloma know that they need to invest a lot early, which is why already a lot of their reserves are looking a little thin on some of these players. Those flashes going to very little, unfortunately. Instead, the contact plays from Sangal look big.
Well, Sangal, they are slowly edging their way on towards this A site. It looks like they are going to use a lot of util out over towards Pit, and ISO hanging on by a thread. Does fly out, finds one, Soulfly finds the second, but not before Casey can answer back in 6 minutes to tie things up. But unfortunately for the side of Paloma, Sangal and Corey in particular, well, they've just took it to the next level here so far on Inferno. And well, for Lena, that AWP's got to be saved into the next round. And well, boy, oh boy, I said Sangal, they need to come out firing on all cylinders, and they are definitely doing just that.
Swinging for the fences is a pretty easy way to put it. Sangal looking very comfortable here. Doesn't even hit the shot. This is unfortunate for Lena. Paloma just not really able to deal with the kind of pressure. And again, Sangal Esports understanding where they need to grab space, where that util needs to go, how to play these defaults effectively, and Paloma looking lost, like they really don't know who they're going to be grabbing, where they're going to be pushing, or any way to try and deny the information that Sangal is able to get on this map. And as a result, they're constantly at that deficit in terms of knowledge, and naturally, as a result, in terms of manpower, in terms of rounds, and in terms of economy.
Speaking of economy, it's still somewhat feasible for the side of Paloma. Limp's going to put the AWP into his hands. And hey, look, oh, how the tides have turned here, right, Rook? It was actually at this point in map number 1 where we saw the double AWP setup come out of Sangal for them to get back into things on the CT side. And well, it looks like Limp and Lena are... Guys, maybe we can use what Sangal did to us on that CT side earlier on Mirage. They pulled out the double AWP, so I think that might just stop the aggression slightly here from Sangal. I think they realised that they're losing the fights over towards the likes of Banana in the middle of the map, up towards A as well. For Sangal, though, it's going to be more of the same. Early aggression and control over towards Banana. The smokes come through. Lena is going to whiff the shot, so that's going to open up a little bit more of an avenue and an angle potentially for Scrunk to take advantage of, should he want to. But Sangal, though, so smart. Tries to be patient. The flash comes through, but it's going to be Olimp to find the first laner there for the second. The 2 AWPs doing their job so far.
Yeah, the AWPs getting those first picks, and Sangal looking at the situation going, okay, need to reevaluate our pushes. We need to get this one going. They've got a couple of flashes. Sorry, they've got a single flash ready and available to them. Smoke gets invested first to try and make something happen here. Now they start to make their move. They've denied away that position. They don't know that SNX is necessarily back on site. Let's see whether they can deal with that one effectively. The rest of these guys move on in. Second smoke to try and provide a little bit more space, a little bit more time towards Paloma here, but the shots from SNX do not land. Olymp has to back off. Wait for the rest of the team now. Patience is key.
I think that's just the problem is, though, 2 of these players have got AWPs, but the problem is that 2 of these players have got AWPs. Lena finds the first lock of the line of sight on towards one of those Sangal players. Fizzy does trade it back, though. Oh. However, the patience, the buy of time from Olymp allows ISO to swing the corner to find his second of the round, third of the game thus far. First on the board finally here for Paloma. And is that the round that Paloma needs to slowly get themselves back into this game on Inferno?
I mean, it's a good question, and I think these orbs are going to make a big difference here. But I think Sangal are kind of going to look at this, and if they can deal with it, they absolutely will. Now they know it's here. That's a surprise round. You didn't expect double orb. You didn't expect to lose a couple of players in those early exchanges. And this time, I think they're going to go about their information gathering and go about their defaults a little bit better. They need to be slightly more careful, obviously. And I think that's going to be exactly what they need, simply put.
Simple man you are, Rook. Things I love to see. That's why I like working with you. Get gun, go pew pew, win round. Simple as, right? If only CSGO was that easy, I think we'd all be many years ago. Instead of hard stuck like DMG or LEF or something. But either way, Lena gonna rip the skull off of Fizzy to start things off here. And yeah, that double up setup, it seems like so far has really made the squad at Paloma feel a little bit more comfortable here on Inferno. They're now allowing a few more early peaks and feeling more confident in the peaks. Although Lena does get tagged up for 56 points of health, or 52 points of health rather, should I say. Still holding strong the AWP over towards Apps, and just looking where Olymp as well, over towards the back B site, holding the cross. Here comes the smokes, here comes the aggression now from Sangal over towards this B site. The mollies are going to try and flush a few players out over towards the back of site, but not going to land to any avail. And this here from Sangal is starting to be dangerous for turning into one of those rounds where they might just let themselves run out of time. We saw this a few times on Mirage, right, where they did not allow themselves a foothold in the round, but Soulfly, he's going to snap and find the head of one player, but SNX is going to instantly trade it back, but the refrag from QB comes through. Oh, Casey, he's going to find the kill when he gets out as well. Reads the second, but Corey's there to find the trade. 2 versus 2. Now, the problem is, though, if that smoke's going to have cleared from CT, they've got no way of getting that bomb down. They know exactly where he's planted. He's going to have planted on Coffin. That means Corey, he can only go one way. He has to go over towards either the back of site, or he has to go in towards Graveyard. As soon as they clear Graveyard here, they know exactly where he is already. This is such a smart read here from the side of Paloma. Lena. Oh, no, maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't know. How do you not know? You cleared the cross. They stuck the bomb. The kick comes through. So does the kill from ISO. Oh dear, I don't think that's going to be a round in a 2v1 that either of the squad's going to want to watch back anytime soon.
No, a little bit sloppy from Paloma there, but they do make it happen. It's Sangal Esports. I mean, they got caught off guard. They wasted that little bit too much time. That smoke dissipated, and then it was a shooting gallery. Absolutely. They tried to move onto the site, but they weren't sure of the position of that last player because they were in dark instead of in Graveyard. They almost lost that round, but luckily that smoke going for the little ninja there does actually pay dividends for them. This time, however, committing more aggressively towards control of apartments here is something I kind of like. They back off early on. Don't want to get too much of a fight on here.
First shot. It's no avail from Lena, just testing the ball, as you could say. And for Paloma now, though, again, this was sort of similar to what we saw from Sangal, right? Where they win rounds, but their economy is still somewhat short. You've got Lena with just a smoke and Kevlar, no helmet with the AWP in hand. You've got no Uto in the hands of Casey. And I think, you know, Casey being 2 and 6 right now is something that is really, really seeing Paloma struggle here on Inferno. It's so important to have some of your key players, especially a rifler like Casey, so solid at holding angles. I just think haven't seemed to be working for him thus far, just down to the MP9 now, though. But Olymp is going to answer the questions, and he's going to fall first. But yeah, for Paloma, I think if they can get the likes of Casey starting to step up a little bit here, it could give Sangal a bit of a tricky time. But I love the aggression, though, from Sangal. They're going to try and take control of Arch, but it's going to be Olymp to just throw a smoke and shut down that play again. 30 to the left. Lena finds the kill. Sangal, are you starting to run out of time here?
Certainly are. They're going to be forced into a little bit of a rush play here. They get the smokes down. Short. That's the next position. No. Olymp, however, they had no clue, no idea, no inkling. And sure, Corey gets a frag, gets another frag. Will be able to get that bomb down, but it's still 1 versus 3. Was betting on that, did not know that there was no one close. Able to get it now, but that nade is going to be big.
Yep, solid answer back here from Paloma, and that's the round that they needed as well, because they only dropped 2 players, so they saved 3 guns through and start to see that economy slowly build its way back up. And on the flip side now, okay, yeah, we've still got 3 players over 6k for Sangal, but you can't dance with the devil too much longer, because unfortunately for you, you play with fire, you might get burnt. And I can't do it, Rick. I can't make another Inferno meme. Sorry, I was gonna try and do it, but I thought I better hold myself against it before the Twitch chat complain. But either way, though, Paloma finally starting to get things going here and wake up and realise that they're not playing a best of one, and they've already won the Mirage. They've got a best of three to play, and well, if they can't pick up this map here, they'll be going to Vertigo.
Well, indeed. Be good for Sangal, as said before. Solid map for them. Paloma desperately want to stop them from getting there. A good couple of rounds on the trot now means that they absolutely could. They start to get some really solid CT rounds in here. Going to set up the boost, going to set up another player. Olymp has been absolutely fantastic here in this map alongside players like Liner and also ISO. But the smoke goes in, they're going to cut off that. The boost player will be big as usual, but they actually walk right on side. They push aggressively into this. And Sangal, they're just disrespecting completely. They're going to put down a smoke of their own, but snapshot, there they go. And that's big for Paloma in terms of denying this push. And they've even managed to see Olymp basically on the side, gets the spray down, takes down another, and completely separated Fizzy. It might come up all bubbles for you now, mate.
Oh, the confidence Lena has to just swing off flash and take a blind shot through the smoke to find one. With 40 seconds left, though, this isn't done just yet. This isn't done just yet. Rook Fizzy finds the second. Olymp down to 23 HP. I think he's snuck in across the site here as well. He's going to get up onto Coffin. So well, but the crossfire from ISO's even better. Up save through to the next. 4 on the trot now for the side of Paloma. That economy slowly starting to dwindle down for Sangal. And for Paloma, it looks like the foundations for success might be starting to invest their way in.
Yeah, economy was looking bad initially for Paloma because on this map, on CT, you need to be constantly investing util, especially towards Banana. There's a lot of different places where you need to invest a lot and you constantly see it sapping away at your bank account. But now they've won a couple of rounds on the trot. Things are not looking so bad. They're looking pretty decent, in fact. They haven't had to be rebuy the AWP or anything of those sorts. They're no longer on that double AWP, importantly, at least at the current moment. We'll see whether that does return. But Sangal, as you said, they just don't have the cash, and you can see that in the way that they're just going to save up here, look for next, and I think that's absolutely the right call. They've got a rifle for Corey here, who has been looking pretty hot, if you ask me, as they completely deny me. You know what? Ignore my opinions on assuming that what they have is what they have. They got 4 rifles. They're playing for it. Sangal, they don't back down.
It's a big ballsy play, really, from Sangal, to put it politely, as they lose this, they're forced onto the eco, and probably looking at even potentially giving up a half deficit here, as Paloma from there will be on 4. It'll probably be a 7-6 lead for Paloma before they get any rifles on board, but so far it seems to be so good. Fizzy quick with it to find the headshot onto Olymp through the smoke, but that B site, something that worked so well for Sangal in the early stages of this first half. They tried to go back over towards it. I think they thought that Paloma had overextended and rotated towards B, but 2 players, though, still sit up and wait in ISO. Nice off angle over towards Cubby. Just trying to see if any aggression towards Archers comes through. The spray and pray doesn't quite work. Casey, you can't be losing those, my friend. Kirby is going to find one. Lena tagged up heavily. The force coming in from Sangal, it seems to have paid off.
As indeed, Sangal just pushed their way on through that. I really didn't think it was going to lead towards much. But those shots not hitting, the aggression, not quite working out how they wanted to. They got a frag here with the off angle, but Paloma just didn't make it happen. It goes in, it goes low. And that econ we were talking about for Paloma, I mean, it's not looking so hot. I'm going to be real. They got no loss bonus coming, no nothing if they lose out on this one. And SNX, I mean, certainly can't make a play towards it, so it's all but done.
It's going to be save the AWP and drop 2 players from Sangal in the meantime. And yeah, okay, that's not going to be the best in terms of having to rebuy into the round, but fortunately for them, they make the force work, and they should now all put AKs into their hands. But nevertheless, though, for Paloma, it's only the AWP and the FAMAS now to work with. As what could quite easily have been a Paloma half win off the back of potentially forcing Sangal to eco for a few rounds. It looks like it's most likely going to be Sangal to do that just to Paloma right now. But look, listen, I mean, Inferno, similar to Mirage, that you can make things work on either side of this map. Some teams are really, really good on CT. Some teams are just T-side demons, and they just know how to play on the T-side so well. But time will tell. We still got a long way to go here. Only 12 rounds in out of the minimum 30 on Inferno. For Sangal, they want to force this to Vertigo.
Good damage and good shots as well. Another one of those players tries to drop out, but Sangal show those AKs are pretty important case. He's like, please, give me the op. I want the op. But can't get it from this position. Instead has that 5-7 up close and personal. And pistol whips Fizzy as they try to jump on top of it. Now with the M4 in hand, looking mighty, mighty dangerous. As you can see, Corey's desperately trying to do this, but the rest of their team falling. It was only a matter of time.
Yeah, Casey needed some help there. He needed someone to try and push through mid to try and get into towards short along, but he just couldn't do it, unfortunately. And the Sangal, though, they do lose a decent bit of armory there. Or weaponry, should I say, rather. Again, though, it's going to be another eco out of Paloma. This will put most likely 9 rounds on the board for Sangal, as this is a bit of a throwaway round from the side from Poland. For Sangal, though, they want to force this Vertigo. They know how good they are on it. We sort of said that if Paloma lose the first map, they could very easily lose Inferno, and this series be done in a 2-0 fashion. And we're starting to see why we thought that, because so far on Inferno, Sangal have just looked so strong.
Indeed. Again, playing for contact on that banana seems to be a focus of Sangal esports. They don't invest anyone towards this actual push into apartments this time. SNX up here trying to catch the player off guard, but buddy, you are wide in the open, and the Mac 10 has more than enough bullets to dispatch you. Olymp looking for a chance here with the USP, but unfortunately can't make it happen. Soulfly manages to push forward and gets aggressive again. Lena versus the world. And another round on the board. Another round win for the side of Sangal esports. Again, they're just pushing up on through this.
Yeah, I think if this is like a 9-6 half, even, like I don't think this is a bad half for Paloma, to be totally honest with you. I think the way Sangal started this on T side on Inferno, I think it's a very good half for Paloma at least. But if you look at the likes of an 11-4, for example, I think Sangal should have enough on CT to get over the line. So important rounds here as we get to the business stage of this first half on Inferno. They not back in the hands. 3 players though stacked over towards this A site, and if you're Paloma, Rook, what are you saying to yourself here in such an important round?
You're saying play it close, play it tight, don't fall for any of these contact plays, and use that utility effectively, especially the smokes. Flash here for Olymp means they could try and make a play out towards it, but it doesn't lead to anything. They don't commit towards it. Sangal have a lot to work with. So that flash could lead to a lot, but the first frag again comes towards that B site. Both fall, and things are wide open. While this fight is going on the A site, this kind of positioning and posturing around it, they do manage to get Fizzy. This B site is wide gone, and you can see that already Soulfly's moved into CT. It's ready and willing to contest everything, but it is even numbers. There is a way to pull this back. That ult in the hand of Lena might be a bit of a problem for them, so I don't blame them for looking to save here. So, going forward, Sangal are looking super confident in these couple of rounds. They move up to double digits. You were talking about that 9-6 half jump. How do you feel about 10-5? That's what I'm looking at right here.
Well, I've just seen Lena drop the AWP as well. ISO's going to fall with the AK as well. A 10-5 again, first scoreline, but I feel like for Sangal, I feel like they'll be so well drilled on CT side here that I'm seeing this going map 3 if we're being totally honest. I think Paloma, they've had their chances on the CT here to put more rounds than just 4 on the board, and I think they've just not been able to convert it the way that they would have liked to. But here, a little bit of aggression from ISO, storms down with an MP9, finds 2, Kubi's there, can't find the third, but the Soulfly is going to trade. Soulfly finds the second as well, and again there, like, you find yourself, 2 frags up, and you just allow the trace to come through. So finds one, Needs to hold fire to find the second. It's so smart, though, from Sangal. One player sacrifices himself. As long as the trade comes through, it's okay. Oh, are they going to be aware, though, that one player's gone over towards Apps?
They don't know.
Can SNX isolate? He's seen the nade trail. He knows one's towards pit. There's no way he's just going back and stick bombs there. He tries to soulfly swings. That's all we got time for the first up. But when we're back, we're going to see if PALOMA can get back into this or if Sangal is going to force Vertigo.
Hello all and welcome back to ESL Challenger League Europe Lower Round 2. I'm Rick, joined by John B. As we're getting back into the second half of Map 2 here between Sangal Esports and PALOMA Dog. Honestly, Map 1 was a solid performance. Very impressive from PALOMA, but coming into Sangal's map pick, they've not been able to have the same impact here. It's been a little bit more problematic for them, but now on the T side, they might be able to really set the pace, and well, they start off by taking Scrunk way off board. Maybe he wants to try and get it as well, but well, Casey showing up like we didn't see in that first half already.
Yeah, Casey, get a double. It's like I'm fine too. That's the start of that PALOMA need. PALOMA need to really get off to the races here. They need to most likely win the first 4 or 5 rounds in a row to try and make this game a little bit interesting, because Sangal, as soon as they get those first rifles in their hands, they'll be backing themselves to try and get themselves up and running back into this map to try and get that third map of go lock and loaded and ready to go. So we'll have to wait and see. It's safe to say that these first early rounds in the pistols and the first buy rounds are going to be very much vital when it comes to how this map might start to play out. But nevertheless, that plant does go through. The save comes through from Sangal as well. 3 players are going to just not allow PALOMA to build the economy slightly earlier on their T side. But win the pistol, step 1 check for PALOMA.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly what we need to try and get this kind of pressure going. And if Casey's starting to frag as well, that's exactly what we want to see from PALOMA Dog. They've been feeling good when Casey's been firing, when Lena's been firing. But as you can see, prior to that round, it was 6 and 11 for Casey, a player who's normally at 1.22, I believe, in terms of that rating. And it just wasn't a good look for this squad.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got, you know, the likes of Casey with a 1.22 overall rating so far this season, coming in and dropping like, I think it was like 2 and 8 at one point in the first half or something like that. You know, it's safe to say that you're missing a key piece of your artillery, right? And well, it seems to have started this round a little bit better and continued the way he ended that first half. So 2 FAMASs actually brought in, 3 FAMASs actually brought in here from Sangal, the MP as well. So they're going to say to themselves, all right, PALOMA, let's see what you've got. Let's see if you can penetrate our first defensive hold here on Inferno. A double set up over towards Zaps, the triple stack 2 of the walls back of B site, the other up behind default boxes. It looks like PALOMA, they're going to edge their way over towards this B site.
A bit surprised as well that Sangal went for this. Very little utility, and as I highlighted before, very important on this map here, but I guess, you know, what's more important than utility? Getting shots into your opponent. Soulfly is going to be forced out to the open, 21 HP, already dead. You can see Corey, Sangal wants to deliver, finds one, but only one. These rifles not quite working out as well as they would like. And Sangal Esports find themselves on the back foot again in this round. This time, rather than backing off, Fizzy's going hard.
Well, I've got to say that PALOMA, they have to have watched the way that Sangal set up on B site, because that util was picture placement perfect. The molly drops down onto the first. I think it was Soulfly who literally burns to death apart from 20 HP and is easily cleaned up. It then drops onto Corey as well, who gets dropped low and traded. And then from there, Scrunk, it's easy pickings in the 3v1 for the side of PALOMA. So step 1, win the pistol check. Step 2, follow it up and win the second round of your half check. So far, so good for the side of PALOMA.
They will. Really impressive impressions as well alongside that. They just swung right on in, took those players on out, and Sangal back on a deficit again. And what I was highlighting before about the economy of this map, especially for CT's side, is that it can be very brutal, right? You want to get up to those rifles, but you also need the utility here. And I think Sangal are looking at that and going, well, that just ain't happening. They're going to buy up some deagles and some players. Wouldn't be surprised to see a couple more of those. But for the most part, I think they're looking into these further rounds and going, okay, we need to make sure we have everything we can use going forward. We've got 1 FAMAS to work with. Maybe that can be the game changer. Pick up a couple of frags, deal some eco damage. Deny PALOMA from getting too far ahead, at least early on here. A good nade, finds some damage. But again, it seems like PALOMA are unrelenting in their banana control.
Yeah, and I think, you know, so far, PALOMA, one thing to mention off the back of that round is they actually only had 1 player die as well, so they saved a lot of the rifles through to the next. So here comes the aggression from PALOMA once again. Flashes, smokes, mollies, all not as well as they did before, but okay, SNX is just going to jump headshot Fizzy through the smoke and just see you later, make this B site. It's mine. ISO finds the kill onto Scrunk. That's going to force Soulfly, Corey, and Fury to try and initiate. I think they realize that this isn't going to happen anytime soon. It's going to be limp to find one, although Kubi's there to trade back with the Deagle. Picking 7th on the board from Paloma. And well, for Sangal, they're looking at the board and saying, is this going to be lightning strikes twice, right? Because we saw on Inferno when they started to come back on the Mirage, when they started to come back in that first half, it was Paloma who had what it took to sort of elevate themselves to the next level, just shift gear slightly and slip into 5th gear. And it looks like already Paloma, they might want to do just that. But here comes the fullback, though, from Sangal.
Does indeed. A couple of rifles on them, decent amount of util. They're going to have to invest some of that early, sure, but too much, at least in the early exchanges. They invest a smoke and a molly towards Banana to try and deny that control, which has been so key for Paloma in these rounds. So Paloma wait, they play patient, and then they focus on these defaults a little bit more.
Patience is a virtue. Sometimes slow and steady wins the race, right? And I wish that was the case for my ranked games and my Face It games, but we will live to see another day. But here comes the aggression from Paloma once again. Flashes come out. The players do get themselves out over towards the entrance to A. One player is going to be Casey, shifted over towards long. Oh, Fizzy though. Oh, the smoke just keeps Casey alive, I think. Oh, this is great from Casey. There's no way the side of Sangal. Oh, look at Casey. I love it from Casey. I think they're going to have sold the fake over towards A here. Surely they pick up this bomb and go back towards Banana. If they do, this is fantastic reading from Paloma. Oh, this is superb round from Paloma. Oh, but guess what? Soulfly, the minute angle. Wait, did he just...
What the heck was that?
On my screen, he was facing the other way
Yeah.
still. Okay, Soulfly. Snappy headshot, but the execute can still come through, though. 3 players flashed, but guess what? Scrunk is still there. Elena, who falls Olymp, needs to be the one to cause the damage first. Does he know where the second is? He doesn't, and unfortunately, the side of Paloma, I think it's just a little bit too short. I need a replay of that Soulfly kill. I'm sorry, Rook, that was ridiculous.
Honestly, I thought he was facing the other way as well, but I thought it maybe was the player on site that was sitting behind him. I thought it could have led to something, but no, Soulfly makes the flick of a lifetime, takes that shot, and Paloma, unable to win the round, even though Casey made what was an absolutely gangbusters flank.
Yeah, that's... I'm going to need to watch the VOD back on that one, to say the least, but Paloma played it perfectly, though. They baited out Sangal over towards the A site. They allowed Olymp to get in towards the back of B, through Archway, in towards CT spawn. But unfortunately for them, I think we're going to have to make sure that Soulfly's elbow isn't dislocated at this rate after the right. But the aggression, though, again from Paloma, and they love taking over towards Archers and Library here. They're going to shift through again. I think Soulfly might know that one's there. Lena trades. Casey has to go big here. He has to kill Scrunk. Oh, he gets in as well. That's huge from Casey. He gets in just before Soulfly was going to swing the angle. Can they isolate, though, the 2 remaining players onto that B site? It's going to be Kubi. And it's going to be Fizzy as well. Surely they're going to know that one player's over towards play somewhere. It's a default place to play. They don't check it. Kubi's there to fire one. It's going to be Limp who falls. But just like that, the B site isn't going to be where they're going, my friend Soulfly. Unfortunately, the A site is there for the taking. They do just that. Soulfly saves 8th up for Paloma.
Wow, wow, wow. Great round for Paloma here. Denying away. I mean, Soulfly was looking at that situation as like, okay, if I rotate and they hit B, they catch me in the rotate, everything goes wrong. There was no position where he really could have played towards that after the initial hit. And with both players just falling instantly, there wasn't enough time or space or anything else for Sangal to try and turn this one into a round. So really well played by Paloma, completely denying away there. And yeah, I mean, Sangal, they just don't have the cash.
Just trying to think here now. So Sangal, they're going to probably just allow Soulfly to play off the... Actually, never again, though. They've got 3 players that can buy in with the M4s. I think you probably put a Deagle in the hand of Scrunk, or there you go. You're going to put the SMG in his hand instead as well. So this is a big, bold statement here from Sangal. They can scrape the money through. They're going to do just that. If Paloma win this, it puts them on 9th. It probably allows them to go on to 10, maybe 11 before Sangal even get the rifles back in their hands. So a big old round number 21 here, Rook, in the way that this Inferno could start to shape up.
It could. Needs to go in more elastic towards the banana front. Playing in a very cheeky spot here. Uses that nade, but they just push out. Corey does not care. The spray downrange is a lot. They managed to trade quite well here, but Skrunk does not care. There's another sacrificial lamb towards keeping that banana from Paloma hands. But eventually, when the dust settles, it will be theirs, but it will be a player now.
Well, in the 2 versus 3, all is not lost here for the side of Paloma. KC. Oh, are they going to cross in the smoke? Soulfly. Oh, Casey spots him. That's going to be the pick that they need, but not before Fizzy's actually been able to rotate over towards this B site himself. He's set up over towards Coffin. Laner's going to fall. He gets himself back out towards Grave as well. And for Casey, I think time might just not be inside here, or at least the timing anyway, because Fizzy's going to find the kill. The bomb does go down. The plant money comes through, but unfortunately, Casey's dropped. 13th on the board for Sangal. It looks like they're the ones who draw the upper hand here in what was such a vitally important round to win.
So vital, and Paloma not able to lock that one out. Their confidence was looking good. The round count was, well, it was going up. It was exactly where they wanted it, but Sangal, they find the opportunity. They shut it down. They bring the pace back down just that tad more. I think Eco is going to lead towards some buys for Paloma here. No way they aren't picking up some of these rifles. They are going to keep pushing towards that. They are going to keep contesting, and I think they're absolutely right for doing so. You don't need to play patient here.
Well, if you lose this round, you pretty much said so for Sangal, you're going to go on to that point, right?
Yeah.
They're not playing for, they're not trying to look to save and play for potential overtime or go on a crazy run of round sprees. They want to try and win this and bring it back here and then. But the good thing is, though, Sangal, their economy is not built up that great as well. So Paloma win this, it's still very much doable to get themselves back into this game. But if you're Sangal and you win this round, you're like, okay, Paloma are most likely going to be broke going into the next, depending on how many kills and if they get the bomb down. You'll most likely put yourself onto 15 rounds before the next buy round comes through from the side of Paloma, maybe even then it'll be a half buy. So, again, we thought round number 21 was important. Round number 22 equally as. And if you're Paloma here, what's the game plan here, Rook? What do you think that's worked well? What hasn't worked well for the side of Paloma thus far?
I think potentially waiting out the utility. Do not opt into that banana trade with all the util that's getting chucked down there. You know that Sangal are likely going to invest a lot. Love that little run boost there. Sets up Fizzy for a great shot here into Liner. That's exactly where you want to be. Sangal Esports getting exactly the kind of opening they need. And Paloma again finding themselves a little lacking, but SNX is aggressive. It'll be exactly what they need. They catch QB as well. And don't even fall to Corey in this position here. We'll be able to wait there. We'll be able to be patient. We'll be in a bad position. No, and shot goes in. Shot and chaser. Sangal Esports here. What looked like a great round for them off that initial exchange. Did not quite go the same way, and I love the fact that Paloma, they didn't invest aggressively towards that banana. They didn't funnel towards it. They didn't lose players. They didn't lose all of that utility, which otherwise could have invested in other places. They just didn't have said utility to use. So now they're in control. They're 2 players up. They've got this point.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a save as well. It's a round win for Paloma. 9th goes on the board, but even off the back of Fizzy finding the first with the AWP, right, they just explode off that first AWP shot to get control of the site, and I think it was SNX who hit like a ridiculous one tap with the Galil through the wall in towards apartments or towards boiler, sorry. And then ISO opens up for the trade as well. So, I mean, either way, Paloma, the 9th goes on the board now for them. Sangal, they do keep 2 rifles, 2 M4s through to the next round. I'm just trying to take a little look across the board in terms of if whether or not players can buy back in. They can't, so it's going to be just 2 rifles here and probably somewhat of maybe a deagle buy from Skrunk onto drop, maybe could be in Fizzy, and Corey can afford a deagle of his own. So this is looking not too shabby and not too bad for Paloma here, Rook.
No, it's not bad. They're going to be able to pick up this round. But that I have minimal doubt at the very least. This next couple of rounds, again, they don't have a lot of space to work with. They're going to hit double digits, sure. Still 3 rounds down. Still only 3 rounds between Sangal and that win.
You said 3 rounds separate Sangal from this win, but after this round, it could be 3 rounds that separate Paloma from tying things up at 13 rounds apiece here on Inferno. ISO over towards the entrance to Apps, finds the first. Scrunk, one of the players with the rifle. Soulfly was one of those other players with the rifles, but that's going to be a rifle dropped out of hands as well, so that's just going to reduce the potential firepower into this round from the side of Sangal already. And I like it from Paloma. They've got the first, and now they've just relaxed a little bit. They've took their foot off the gas to say, okay, we've got the first pick. Let's not get over eager and cost ourselves the round. Now, the smoke does come through. Over towards CT. It's going to be Lena trying to spot the contact. Does he see one? He does. He misses the shot, though. Find the kill. And Olymp's there to trade. Can the trade come back for again? It's not. Scrump's there to find the frag. He is down to 5 HP though, but SNX. Sneaky beaky like man. He shifted his way in towards CT. All this side of Paloma have to do is just delay. Don't get picked off and don't allow a 2v2 to happen. That's exactly what happens. Oh, but SNX, oh, it's so smart. It's so smart. He knows exactly where the second player is. This is superb from SNX. That right there is called trigger discipline to the highest standards. He knew exactly where the second player was. He shifts up behind, finds the round win, and an important one at that. Yes, okay, Sangal, they pick up some kills. They know that they can buy into this. The AWP goes into the hands of Fizzy. This, though, is a vital round in how this game could come out. Sangal lose this, they are dirt broke.
This is so big for Paloma for exactly the reasons you just said. The patience, they're waiting, they picked up these rounds, they've started to get things going again. That decisiveness has really shown itself on this T side. And Sangal Esports, as you said, that economy, looking bad, broken, unable to really put up too much up until now. But if they lose this, well, Paloma are almost certainly going to catch up with them. It's certainly going to be 13-13. And then from there, can Sangal even keep pace? One more round and it's all over.
I mean, the loss bonus is at 2,900, right? 2,900. So you can maybe get yourself a Deagle off the back of it. And if you wanted to force yourself the likes of a FAMAS or an MP9 buy in with some armor, you could do that. But it's just not viable for Sangal at the moment. And I'm not too sure if I agree with this from Paloma, though. The re-aggression now towards Banana after the A site split has been working so well. I think they're just going back to old ways, and it could cost them dearly, and it does. ISO's going to fall.
It's deep. Smoke goes deep, goes in the position they need, but look at the health of these players. Again, they found themselves in a position where they've just ceded control over the round, they fought for Banana, and now they're not even going to really be able to leverage it, because pushing in like that just isn't going to work. They've got some utility available to them. They could try and force it, but with players this low, a single nade, a couple of sprays, everything falls apart.
Yeah, and I mean, half of me understands why they're going to go back to Banana, because they've got some success going through, you know, A long over towards Arches and towards CT. That's why the extra player from Sangal has been committed there. But you also know you've struggled to deal with the util usage, right, over towards Banana. So it's almost like, can you try and slow play Sangal at their own game? SNX, though, is going to find one. They jump through with the flash, superb stuff. SNX is really starting to come alive here on this Inferno. QB knows he's got to try and dance his way around the smoke, but to no avail. Lena's going to pick up the kill. The save has to come through. 11th up now for Paloma here, Rook.
Yeah, this is exactly what they needed, and I really thought that, considering how they played around Banana there, that it was going to fall apart this round, that Sangal were going to rectify things, their economy was going to look good again. But Paloma, they play towards the A site, they play so aggressively and play well together as a team as well, and shut down that potential hold, moving themselves up to 11. The econ again, you look over towards Sangal, they've got 2 rifles, that's it. That's all they're really going to have. Maybe they could force up a little bit, sure. But in 2 rounds' time, then they'll be able to contest again.
I think the only thing that the side of Paloma will be annoyed about is probably the fact that they haven't got a little bit more economy and they couldn't have sent a few players hunting for those final 2 kills. But I speak of that, you've actually now got SNX dropped up to 10k in the bank. So across the board, what is it looking like for Sangal? One rifle you can drop from Skrunk. If it's a FAMAS, you can drop a FAMAS from Soulfly. You can actually drop an M4 from Soulfly as well. Dude, I think they probably what this pause is about is to see whether or not they want to try and buy into this, or if they're just going to try and save into the next. And for Paloma, they know. And Sangal have an issue with this, Rook. When things get a little bit dicey and things get a little bit tougher when push comes to shove, sometimes Sangal, they can fold under that pressure. And are we going to see if Paloma can force those questions and answers out of Sangal?
It's a big question, and I don't think that Sangal or Paloma themselves even have an answer for it. Sangal, I think they've been so hit or miss in some of these rounds, especially on the defense here. Sometimes you look at it and it's like, damn, they've got absolute lock on all of this. You see the nades investment towards Banana looking fantastic, but then otherwise, sometimes it just looks like nothing. And when that happens, Paloma just pounce upon them. They push into everything. Every place that there's no one, they control. And and Sangal sometimes don't expect that enough. They respect that enough. They lose a couple of players, and as a result, then Paloma are just able to steamroll and, well, get the momentum going.
Slower pace taken into this round number 25 here, though, from Paloma. And I think this, although there's a lot of pressure on Sangal to not choke what was quite a comfortable lead going into the second half here, I think there's also a bit of pressure on Paloma to say they've kind of got Sangal where they want them, right? Let's not try and throw the round away and just give away 3 frags. And that's exactly what ISO has done. It's going to be Soulfly to find the first. Soulfly finds the second as well. And now this is just a little bit sloppy from Paloma. They're in a 3 versus 5. They've got to try and go fast. That D side. Sandbags isn't going to be clear. It's going to be SNX to find the team flash. Skrunk's there to find 2. It's all up to Lena. They have to save the AWP. Does find the first. Blind fires the shot as well to drop Skrunk. Okay, yes, there's 30 seconds left, so there's more than enough time to try and pull this off. But I think with the bomb down over towards Banana and the AWP in hand, you're probably going to want to try and save this one. That's the 14th from Sangal now.
Yeah. Going to be able to keep that one over, yes. And Eco as well, looking solid enough for Paloma. They'll be able to contest in the next round. But as we said, Sangal, just 2 steps away after this one. And they can close it out. The Recon's still looking a little bit shaky. They should be able to buy up. At least, I think Soulfly will be able to buy over for QB. We'll be buy up some of those nades. Skrunk has more than enough. Everything's looking fine enough for Sangal Esports, but is good enough good enough? That's the question. Paloma and their the way they contest apartments and the way they've kind of been a little bit more passive on Banana has led to them to a lot of success. Could do so again.
I mean, just trying to think here, what's going to be the real difference maker, and what could be the difference maker in the way this game comes out. I think the next break of Eco is probably going to be what it is, as to whether or not that the likes of Sangal have to Eco for a few rounds and we see Paloma go on to like 13, 14 rounds, or if Paloma potentially lose this round, their economy's not really looking too great, and they're going to be on map point at least anyway. So these are the real questions we need answered here if you're a Paloma fan.
Indeed. Sangal. They've got a lot of players on this site. This could be big. Banana control again is something they're investing towards. They've still got Skrunk waiting there. Should be able to contest. Doesn't have much. Has the molly, so it does have a way to buy time. You can see Paloma. They've got a player waiting in the smoke. They're going to be able to get through. SNX is going to flank around. And Tori's already gone. With Soulfly down, this is so big for Paloma.
2 kills in quick succession. Make it a 3rd. Make it a 4th. Paloma. They might be starting to break some Turkish hearts, and Sangal fans will be saying, oh no, we're going to see our team have this awful situation happen again where they look so good, but then they just can't get over the line. That's going to be a save out of Skrunk. I think the economy is good enough for Sangal here, though, to get a buy into this next round, regardless. It might be a bit of a poor buy, or either way, you should afford a few rifles nevertheless. But for Paloma, they're just not going away. They're being a real nuisance right now here for Sangal. And Sangal must be thinking, what have we got to do to keep these Paloma players off of our backs?
Easier said than done, right? They're constantly playing in these situations where they get aggressive and they play 2v1. They peek the angle, they throw the flashes, they've got the utility on lock. And again, because of the eco, Sangal Esports often lacking in those situations. They don't have access to the flashes because they have to invest towards the molly, they have to invest towards the smokes to really cut off a lot of these positions. And Paloma are making good leverage of that. They know the flashes are going on in. They know where they can get aggressive. And again, that decisive play to snap onto a site when they've got an advantage is looking good for them. Sometimes it leads them into danger. Sometimes it leads them into trouble. Sometimes Sangal gets some really great spray downs as a result. But more often than not, Paloma keeps striking gold.
I think Sangal are lucky that they've got a lot of economy to work with. I think they're lucky that that loss bonus was built up a little bit, and then they won a round off the back of it as well. Yeah. So for them, I don't think they're going to be necessarily crazily worried that, you know, they still got a few rounds to play around with. They can afford to lose sort of one more round, really. For Paloma, though, their tails are definitely up. They're going to be feeling themselves here. This is exactly the situation that they wanted to find themselves in after a real poor first half, it must be said.
Or indeed. Smoke again towards that banana. Because Molly's invested too, to try and deny players away from it. Against this focus towards the A site, at least initially, that gets Paloma a lot of value. SNX so far up, and no one's contesting that. Smoke goes deep. Fizzy gets one shot, and that's big.
Yeah, great pick from Fizzy. Bit of a poor peek really out of Casey there. Peek's completely dry. Alright, so they know that this player is over there with the AWP, Lena. I'm surprised Lena hasn't tried to be a bit more aggro on the swing, and now Paloma will find himself in a bit of a crossroads. Do they continue into the A site, or do they try and work their way back over towards Banana and find an exit onto B? I think it is the latter that they've chosen, but fortunately for them, Scrunk and Soulfly, they've not moved a muscle.
Yeah, they haven't. I'm very aware that Paloma like to shift these sites. And as a result, I think staying here, this patience is so good. A couple of flashes for the retake, got that molly as well, attached to Soulfly here. Cinder should be able to do a lot in terms of denying that space away. Wants to try and set up for it. Flash goes in, play comes out. Good shots coming through. They managed to deal with two of these players, and it's looking good numbers-wise for the Sangal here as they clean house and don't drop a player.
Yeah, great stuff from Sangal, honestly. The composure, and I like the composure from Scrunk and Soulfly, honestly, because a lot of teams there could get drawn over towards A once they see the players out over towards long and trying to get in towards Archway. But Soulfly just says, okay, cool, I'm going to sit exactly where I am. I'm just going to turn and face the other way in case you've got, you know, especially with the likes of SNX, and we've seen Olymp as well, get in towards Arches and CT so many times on numerous occasions in this half. That's the over-rotation that I think that Paloma were taking advantage of before, and Sangal, they've made that minor adjustment, and well, now it puts them onto map point. We see SNX just going to go charging over towards B. This is the aggression we saw out of them in map number 1 on T side that worked so well.
Yeah. But here, Scrunk tries to get that spray, but the Mac 10 from Casey. Get that frag. Like, can't get the spray, can't deal with anyone here. And need to try and stop people up. Need to try and set people up. Olymp. Actually looks to just push through. Casey manages to slip off to the side with Soulfly down. It's 3 versus 3. There's a lot going on here.
Bomb has been planted. I think they've got the isolation as to where one player is with the AWP because of the scope sound cues. However, not a lot of time for Sangal to work with. Flashes come through. Casey finds 1. Casey finds 2. Paloma still alive and kicking here on Inferno. Sangal, second map point of this game.
Yeah, I really didn't think it was going to lead up to this. I thought that it was going to be a closeout for the side of Sangal, but again, Paloma, they make it happen, even with the flashes coming their way. They play that anti-flash well, play as a duo again. I think that buddy system was working well for them. Very little in the economy for Sangal here, likely going to be 14-15. I think we're going to see an overtime here. I certainly do. Scrunk tries to get a shutdown range, but unfortunately whiffs with the scout here. Instead, moves forward, takes up a better position, tries to get some damage, get some tags going.
I mean, I like it. I kind of understand why Sangal want an eco here. I mean, yes, they could have probably brought in with 4 rifles, but if they do, they're probably going to throw away overtime quite easily. They've said to themselves, okay, we'll let you go to 14 here and we'll try and win 16-14 on this map. So for the side of Paloma, this is making sure that no mistakes are made. Don't throw it away on an anti-eco round. Just do not do it. You've got the first pick now. That A site is actually completely empty as well. They've gambled here. Sangal over towards this B side. And here comes the Eagle. But guess what? Here's the AK of Olip. He finds one. Can't find any more, but ISO's there to double his luck and find the second. That bomb's going to go over towards A. The rotation comes through. And just like that, you'll see 14th go on the side of Paloma.
Well, indeed, good frags coming through. Really want that overtime. Paloma continue to fight for it. Tooth and nail. We're looking to nail things out, looking to finish things here at 16-14. Sangal, they make their buy up. They make their final stand in this half at the very least. They've got that AWP available. They've got all the utility they could possibly ask for. What more can they do?
I'm just taking a little look at the U2 across the board. It's going to be perfect pretty much on both teams. So the only negative for the side of Sangal is that only one player has the full Kevlar, right? And that's going to be Scrunk. So nevertheless, I mean, against an AK, you get one tapped in the head anyway, regardless. It doesn't really necessarily matter. But here we go then. Into our 30th and final, well, I say final round, but our final regulatory round, you could say, before we could potentially head to overtime or with Sangal force Vertigo. Paloma, 11-4 down at the half. They were 13-5 down at one point here in the second half. They've clawed their way back into this map. Now, just one round away from forcing overtime in what would see Sangal really, really have their backs against the wall.
By hook or by crook, Paloma need to pick this one up. Sangal desperately too. QB in a great position here if they can find something flash one and go their way. Molly, smoke instant response. Corey waiting on top as well. They're double stacking this position. They've got backup as well from Fizzy. Sangal catch Paloma moving in here. This is going to be so big. Still a lot of options up in the air. Paloma could easily shift towards that banana. Molly buys some time. Bomb getting picked up, moving towards said banana. So they've made their choice. They made the decision. Players are going to start to back off, not commit so much forward. But Casey oversteps their boundaries. And with that, Soulfly actually further reinforces their position. With the smoke going in, they're going to have to commit towards this.
Yeah, I think they know exactly the setup that they're playing on B as well. So we've seen this dynamic duo of Scrunk and Soulfly hold B strong so many times here in this half. Can they do it again? SNX though is going to put the numbers a little bit further in Paloma's face.
Ooh.
But the flash from Fizzy goes absolutely huge. Scrunk doubles his luck, making a triple. Where's the 5-kill? Lane is there, alive and kicking. Can't tie things up. We're going to map number 3.
Scrunk, wow. Fantastic performance to lock that one out, where really, I don't think anyone expected that to happen. I thought that, honestly, Scrunk was going to get annihilated in that one, and was going to be around, heading us to overtime. But Sangal, they step up, and they deliver.
It was a fantastic flash from Fizzy. He literally throws the flash, I think, from CT, lands perfectly in the